This is a message to all my supporters of this podcast. I'm introducing a new supporters program. You can contribute a small amount as a one-off payment to show your love for this podcast. Thank you in advance for all your contributions. I just wanted to let you know before we start the podcast that I am doing an online podcast course, how to be able to create, get your guests, scale it and monetize it. So please do go to abmpodcastcourse.co.uk and go into the contact us bit. I'm looking for new people to be able to be a podcast creator and really to be able to develop their skills and knowledge into a podcast. So as I said, go to abmpodcastcourse.co.uk and sign up. Thanks.
This is the Absolute Business Mindset podcast. This podcast will give you insight into businesses. I will share my thoughts, ideas from content leaders and experiences from my life. And I hope you will have a few aha moments on this journey. Thanks everyone for joining me today on the podcast, Absolute Business Mindset podcast. So today I want to talk about something that's happened in the last few weeks, and I've had to not announce it so far because of commitments that I'd had, but I've left my corporate job. So my strapline, which is a corporate employee with an entrepreneurial mindset, will be now removed because it does not exist. I'm not a corporate employee. So I just wanted to give you a few insights into why I left and what's looking forward into the future. So I left the corporate role because I was able, economically or financially, able to leave without too much problems because of revenue streams which I have created over the last 6 to 12 months. I also left because I think I'd come to the end of my time in corporate. I started to want to do things my own way, and opportunities were coming across my path, which were opportunities to make extra money, different revenue streams. And I think you'll know if you're in this position that eventually you get to this point where the corporate role isn't fulfilling you. And I use the word fulfillment incredibly deliberately, because I found that it wasn't giving me the buzz anymore, the tools, the tactics, the techniques that I used and were working so well started to not interest me so much. So the politics, which is often used for influencing and persuading others, started to get a little bit boring, and I didn't enjoy that as an experience like I used to. So as I said, I started a few entrepreneurial things that the properties have helped. I'm now coaching people, startup and small business owners on how to scale their business. And I found it all that so much more rewarding than being able to implement global mobile software. It just really wasn't what I was looking for or what I was getting reward from or fulfillment for. So I think if you're in this situation, I would say there's definitely a transitional, unless you're living at home with your parents and you can leave and be unemployed or not have any revenue streams for a while. I would say you need to be able to think about it and transition towards it. This transition has been in plan for probably a year now. And COVID obviously made a hell of a lot of difference and slowed that process down. But it was still the intention that I would be leaving and I would be doing this entrepreneurial thing. So you might be asking, what am I doing? So I'm still doing my podcasts. I will continue to do that, these podcasts, as well as the interviews that I do as well. I will continue to do the podcast course as well, which is going really well. We've got a steady supply of people that are interested in learning how to podcast. I will be extending my property portfolio, which I will be looking to do in sort of 2020, 2021. I will be coaching. I'll be extending the number of people that I coach. I've got a small group of people who I'm working with, which is fantastic. Really enjoying that. Really getting a lot of benefit from that. And then the fifth thing is that I am starting a podcast guest business where we put guests on podcasts. And this is something that I've been working with a business partner, and we're working towards that, and we will be releasing that in the next week or so. So check it out, look out for it. It's called the Podcast Introduction Group. So by all means, have a look at the website, which we've got up and running now, and contact us if you're interested in being guests on between 24 and 48 podcasts a year. So as you can see, there's lots for me to be doing. And I think because I knew that there was lots of opportunities and lots of things to do, I was confident that I would be able to leave and I would be able to hopefully prosper and thrive in this difficult pandemic times. And a lot of the stuff that I do is all remote. So it means that I haven't got that dependency on face-to-face, which you can't do in lockdown. So I think if you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur and you're in a corporate role, think about it, talk to people about it, talk with your trusted advisors, and really work out whether it's right for you. For me, it was the right time, it was the right place. I just needed to get out of this corporate role and do something a little bit and measure myself on what I can achieve and how I can achieve it. So for me, it was super important to do this, and we're now maybe 2 weeks into this and having an amazing time. Lots of exciting things coming up. So really looking forward to it. So that was why I left my corporate role. The company, I'm not going to badmouth either of the big four companies that I worked for. I think there's definitely positives there. If you are thinking about joining, I would say do your research and understand about what you're actually getting into and what that will actually mean. Maybe speak to people that already work there. So I would say that that's definitely an option for people. But equally, if you feel you need to be entrepreneurial, then take that leap, take that chance, take a risk. You don't achieve anything unless you take risks as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate all the downloads, all the listens, all the subscriptions. I really appreciate it, and I'll speak to you all soon.